DPIIT registration for startups under the Startup India scheme. Eligible companies can be recognized as startups by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade (DPIIT), which is part of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. When a startup obtains DPIIT recognition, it becomes eligible for a range of benefits outlined under the Startup India scheme. Eligibility. Criteria for startup. India registration. To register a startup in India, to be eligible for DPIIT registration and get benefits from Startup India, a startup must meet the following criteria. 1. Business structure. The startup must be incorporated as a private limited company, a limited liability partnership, LLP, or a partnership firm. 2. Age of the startup. The startup should be at most 10 years from its incorporation. 2. However, startups in the biotechnology sector are allowed up to 15 years. 3. Annual revenue. The startup's yearly turnover must not exceed INR 100 crores in any fiscal year since its inception. 4. Innovative approach. The startup must aim to innovate, develop, deploy, or commercialize new products, processes, or services driven by technology or intellectual property. 5. DPIT recognition. The startup must acquire a Startup India certificate from the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIT. 6. Legal compliance. The startup must comply with all relevant legal requirements, such as the Companies Act, Income Tax Act, and Goods and Services Tax Act. 6. Additionally, it must maintain a bank account in the business's name and provide these details during DPIIT registration. 7. Job creation. The startup should either contribute to job creation or have the potential to do so in the future, aligning with the Startup India scheme's objective to stimulate employment within the country. Benefits provided under the Startup India scheme. Startup India Company registration offers an extensive range of benefits to support startups, as outlined below. Patents, trademarks, and design registration. Startups that need to secure patents for innovations or trademarks for their business can access facilitators from a government-approved list. By engaging these facilitators, startups benefit from an 80% reduction in fees, covering only the statutory charges. Funding support. Many startups face challenges in accessing finance due to their lack of experience, absence of security, or insufficient cash flows, which often pose a high risk for potential investors. To mitigate this, the government has set up a fund with an initial corpus of as 2,500 crore, aiming for a total of as 10,000 crore over 4 years. This fund, functioning as a fund of funds, invests in the capital of SEBI-registered venture funds, thus providing indirect financial support to startups. Self-certification under employment and labor laws. Startups can self-certify compliance under specific labor and environmental laws, reducing the compliance burden and associated costs. This allows startups to self-certify under 6 labor laws and 3 environmental laws for 3 to 5 years post-incorporation. Environment-related acts exemption. Startups in the 36 industries categorized as white by the Central Pollution Control Board are exempt from certain environmental clearances under 3 specific acts for up to 3 years. Tax exemption. DPIIT-recognized startups are entitled to an income tax exemption for 3 consecutive financial years out of their first 10 years since incorporation. Moreover, startups can apply for an exemption from angel tax under Section 56 of the Income Tax Act, which is particularly beneficial for early-stage startups receiving external equity investments at valuations exceeding their fair market value. Streamlined, winding-up startups can shut down their operations within 90 days from the date of making the application, providing a hassle-free exit strategy for businesses that need to cease operations. Relaxed public procurement norms. Startups recognized by DPIIT are allowed to compete in public procurements without the typical prerequisites of prior turnover and experience requirements. This opens up significant business opportunities with government departments, ministries, and public sector undertakings. Documents required for Start India registration. To complete the registration of startup in India and obtain DPIIT recognition for your startup, you will need the following documents. 1. Company Incorporation Registration Certificate. 2. Proof of funding. If applicable, evidence of any financial backing received. 3. Authorization letter from the company's authorized representative. 4. Proof of concept. This could be a website link, a pitch deck, or a video demonstrating the startup's concept. 5. Patent and trademark details. If your startup has filed for any patents or trademarks. 6. List of awards or certificates. Any recognitions or awards your startup has achieved. 7. PAN, permanent account number.